Here in Detroit, a city of war. On the city's west side, a 150-block area is off limits to everybody. U.S. Army paratroopers, National Guardsmen, state and local police are continuing the fight against a handful of snipers.
Hello. Oh, everything is fine. No trouble here. I'll sleep when they stop riding. Hey, fellas, I'm going to that grocery store across the street. Come bearing gifts.
Thank you. You got any sugar?
Nah, don't push your man.
It's a war zone out there. They're destroying the city.
Whoa, hey, y'all seen this?
Hey, look, we're not too far from the Algiers. Let's just go there till all this blows over. When you're black, it's almost like having a gun pointed at your face. It's like this. Hey, boy, what you doing on my street?
Get that gun off me.
Or what?
Hit the dog!
You shoot it.
Oh, man.
It's just a start. It just starts races.
Army taking fire.
Shots fired. Near the Algiers motel.
Hey, y'all, there's a bunch of police outside right now.
Let's not be stupid in this situation. You need to tell me where the gun is. I got all night, people. Tell me exactly what is going on here.
I need you to survive the night.
You think we're bluffing? We don't bluff.
The Detroit riots are known as one of the most violent urban revolts in the 20th century, according to Tabitha Wang. On the early morning of July 23, 1967, police raided an illegal bar and arrested 82 people on 12th Street in Claremont. This sparked the Detroit riots. 2,000 people filled the streets of Detroit to fight and protest for their equality and freedom. Have you ever fought for your equality? Have you ever put your life on the line to help others? Well, during this time period of looting and rioting, black people in Detroit had enough of being treated like less than a human. The general population of looters were black males. 33 blacks and 10 whites were killed. More than 2,000 people injured and more than 7,200 people arrested. All the damages added up to more than $32 million. There has been tension between the police and the black community because of police brutality, unemployment, segregation, and the education system. Police brutality has always been a major issue. The Detroit police were killing many black males prior to the riots. As you know, Detroit is also known as the Motor City. Many black people were losing their jobs to white people in the factories. They didn't have enough money to support their families. Segregation was a big problem. In 1950, 90% of Detroit was white. When blacks migrated to the north, many went to Detroit for employment purposes, but they were not given equal opportunities. The white community was separated from the black community. Many African Americans in Detroit just wanted the same opportunity as whites in Detroit. The education in Detroit for black children was unbearable. White teachers told the black students they would be nothing but factory workers. The riots were so bad, the National Guard had to be called in to surround the city. The riots lasted 5 days, July 23rd through July 28th, 1967. The aftermath of the riots are horrific. There are long-term effects of this riot. Looting was a form of revenge to get the police to hear out the black community. Many people were willing to die to protect the rights of their fellow African Americans. Many women and children did not come out of the house because they wanted to protect what they have left. Whites in Detroit wanted black people to stay in their community. They did not want integration. White people made sure that black people stayed in their community by beating them to death in the street during the riots. As you know, this did not help because today, Detroit is a predominantly black city.
The city had seen some of the deadliest and most destructive rioting in U.S. history. More than 40 people died in the Detroit riots, 7,000 people were arrested, and at least 2,000 buildings burned to the ground. So what's happened to Detroit since? Well, a photographer who lived in Detroit at the time of those riots recently returned to his city to measure how much or how little progress the city has made in the last 4 decades.
I'm Phil Cherner, and I grew up in Detroit. I was 16 years old, still in high school, when the city burned down around me. I'd never seen anything like it, and I hope I never do again. There were armed troops patrolling my neighborhood, jeeps going by with machine guns on them, and soldiers in full battle dress. I took my camera and wandered through some of the affected neighborhoods. I developed the idea of going back and taking pictures of the same neighborhoods. I wanted to see how they might have changed or stayed the same. The shots on Pingery Street are probably the most graphic. All that was left there, a series of row houses, was the brickwork, a chimney and a staircase. Everything else was completely gone. The city has left this park there. There's a couple ball fields. We even saw some kids playing in it. The old staircase has been dismantled. The concrete steps are now stuck in the ground at an odd angle and used for kids to sit on while they play baseball. Another picture is on a street called Grand River and an intersection of Lysander. There's an old furniture store on the corner. We couldn't find any trace of this intersection at first. Not only was the building gone, it was just an empty field. If you look at the old black and white picture, there's a very distinctive street lamp. Street lamp's still there. I don't know if it works. There were times during the riot where it was too dangerous for firemen to try to put out fires, so things just burned. And when it was all over, there wasn't a whole lot left. It was really living in a battle zone. Checkpoints, tanks, fellas in helmets with M1s over their shoulder. It was scary. There's one kid walking down the block, and I think there's a cat walking through the picture at the same time. And for me, it just emphasized that this wasn't just a ruin and it wasn't just a fire. It was somebody's neighborhood. These were people's houses. One minute they were living at home, and the next minute they were completely out on the street. And I don't know that the city's ever recovered from that trauma.
And you can see a slideshow of Phil Cherner's photographs on our website, abcnews.com.
In today's society, the rioting has not stopped. The same racial and economic inequalities that exist here in 1967 are still prevailing today, said Bill Peterson from the Washington Post. Today, we have movements to support incidents like Trayvon Martin's and Alton Sterling's. We have Black Lives Matter. This proves that the civil rights movement has not stopped. So before you leave this building, think about how you can change the world. Think about how you can make a change. Think about, are you next?